Yeah, hi, hello to everyone. So I hope I got a lot of participants now. So we are waiting for some more participants to be admitted. So meanwhile, you can share your name and your college name in the chat box. Okay, so we can more about you. Yeah, hi students. I appreciate your participants. So kindly share your college name as well as your name and your details in the chat box. Okay, so we can get to know more about you. Hi, very good evening to everyone. So now shall we start our webinar? It seems. So by the way, my name is Sanofer and I'm an HR executive in TVS Training and Services. So today, on behalf of TVS Training and Services, we have initiated this webinar on the topic careers in manufacturing sector. So I warmly welcome all the participants to the webinar. So as far as concerned as a student and as a working professional, so we all have a dream to be get placed in a core company, right? So I hope this webinar would be very useful and helpful for all the job seekers. So before getting into the webinar, I would like to share some valuable information about our company TVS Training and Services. So first of all, I will begin with our milestone. So how we entered our career into this stream. So in 1997, we have first initiated our Center for Vocational and Advanced Training. So later we have involved as a Center for Polytechnic and Advanced Training in 2006. In 2006, we have provided various industrial service training for many industries. We have well-trained trainers also. So while we have started our vocational college in 2010, and finally we set a brand as TVS Training and Services in 2011, and now we are running it successfully. And our vision is to create technically proficient individuals who meet global standard of excellence in multiple sector as well as multiple domains. Next is the division of TVS. So while entering into our company, you have to know what are the divisions we are providing in TVS Training and Service. So first of all, I will begin with B2B. So which is the business to business, and we are providing various training that are related with industries as well as corporate. So we have 35,000 plus trained people as well as 250 companies. Next one is B2E, which is business to engineering. So we have given various training to many engineering colleges as well as universities, and we have came across around 12,500 plus engineers who are placed in various sectors. And next one is business to government, which is B2G. And we have involved NSDC, which is a National Skill Development Corporation training. And we have almost placed around 30,000 rural youth. Next one is BFSI, which is a banking finance. And we have a tie-up with banks, and we have been giving various training to the students which is related to banking, insurance sectors, and we have placed around 20 plus thousand graduates in our 4 states. So which next one is our NEEM scheme, which is the National Employability Enhancement Mission. So it's a part of TVS Educational Society, and we have around 24,000 trainees as well as 85 customers around 3 states. And our project and consulting group have a tie-up with many key plans as well as they are providing various solutions to enrich our divisions. So finally, we are providing a staffing and sourcing department also. So now I'm going to invite our guest. So today's guest is Mr. Mohammed Samiuddin, who is the DGM for B2E department in TVS Training and Sector. So before I'm inviting him, I would like to share a few words about him. So Mr. Mohammed Samiuddin is an MBA graduate and he is graduate from the Premier Business School. So around he have 15 years of experience in service industry. So he have many associated with a business school, Educom Solutions. So meanwhile, he is also a student advisor and a career counselor for many engineering students. So you might know, I hope even your engineering college would also have been invited him for a guest lecture, it seems. So he's a prominent speaker at IIT Madras also. Meantime, in his free time, is also provide various counseling for these students to get their dream job. Hi, Sam, and we will call him as a Sam. So now I ask Mr. Samiruddin to share a few words with us.
Thank you everyone, and thanks Super, and I think thanks to all the participants who have taken time and who have made it for the session. I'm so excited to interact with these kids. And so before getting into the session, I would love to see the buzz in the chat box. Let me ask one single question to all the students: which is the most world's powerful weapon? Which is the world's most there are good amount of response from the students. Thank you very much. Let me tell you, the world's most powerful weapon. A lot of students have given the right answers, but yes, to be very precise, education is the world's most powerful weapon, and it not only education not only changes the families, generations, it also makes the country more stronger, and it also gives a different dimension to the country and also the economic. So, and engineers, you would have seen a lot of these quotes: "Engineers change the world." Engineers make the world. So on that part, I would like to start the session. And yes, thank you for inviting me and making the session. I hope the session will be really helpful for the students. So let's take up the first question. We had received a lot of questions from the students, from the colleges and everything. I am sure you have a lot of questions. So you can go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually, when we organize this webinar, we are getting lots of feedback as well as lots of questions. So as a part of a student, I would like to ask you, like I would like to share you some questions. So you can also give the best answer for them. Okay. So Sam, what do you think, what will be the best strategy for students to get in a core company, especially as a, in a core industry?
Okay. Before this, I know if I know a lot of students who are participate from Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And these zones, we have more than Tamil Nadu had about 600 engineering colleges, and then what happened is after that it became 400. And if you look at it, so by and large there are about like 200 engineering colleges to 250 engineering colleges which has mechanical department. So colleges, big colleges, everybody is increasing, and the competition is also increasing. But at the same time, there is also companies which are growing one by one, okay? And there is a lot of job opportunities as well. It's all about how the student classify himself, creates a differentiator factor and everything. We'll see that in the coming slides. So, Sinafor, if you could move on, if you could move me the next slide, will be great. So what's very important point is, as a student, we finish our engineering degree, and what's the difference ultimately we make it. Okay, so the important difference is the what is the differentiator skills. Now you do a engineering degree, and then you do some of the value addition programs and internships. How do you differentiate yourself? Okay, that is the one of the important factors, and there is a lot of development which is keeps going on in a lot of areas, okay, in terms of industry. So, as on date today, a mechanical engineer is not only expected to learn mechanical engineering. He has to be an all-rounder, number one, and number two, he has to be strong in one or two areas so that he can handle all the areas which could be relevant to the industry and which is needed to the industry as of today, as on date. So, if you could move on to the next slide, Srinivas, so that we could show to the students that how this could be a very important, what is important to the students in the current scenario. Yeah. So what do we talk about, like value addition? What is the value addition which is needed as on date? If you look at it every day, one of the important buzzword is the electrical vehicle. Okay, whether it's positive news, whether it's negative news. Okay, everything starts with positive and then turns negative, and then there is a huge explosion happens, and the market demands is more. Okay, I know that like a lot of companies are hiring left and right. That's number one. And number two, if you look at it, there is a lot of demand, and every country is working tremendously in this area. And I don't know how many of you know this. In Karnataka, the 2025 by 2025, whether this could be plus or minus, yes, it could be postponed as well. The first EV policy came in Karnataka, and second is their vision and mission is to by 2025 all the vehicle has to be on the EV segment. So all the in Gujarat, if you look at it, the government buses or the battery operated vehicles. Okay, in Tamil Nadu there are a lot of what do you say, the municipality, the waste vehicles which has been the EV operated vehicles. Similar in Karnataka. So everybody is under a transformation, and there is a lot of trial and error is going on. That's why the hiring is going on. So yes, we always tell the students to learn technologies on EV, and the same is with TVS. I'm sure everybody knowing what TVS is doing in terms of EV. We also have do a course on EV, and which is tremendously welcomed by all the students in all the colleges study this program, and that's why we teach that. And next program, if you look at it, Industry 4.0, IoT using smart devices, data analytics, manufacturing, autotronics, Six Sigma, so industrial automation, all this the buzzwords which is very important as on date. As on date, if you look at it, everybody wants to learn this program. So we do this program for 45 hours for the student because we do not want to take away their main time duration of what they are going to the colleges. We also do it on the weekends and weekdays as well. We also guide them in terms of internships and projects. We'll also see that in the later stages. But yes, of course, some of the value additions which we offer on this area, but it's not necessary for students to come here and study. That's not the point. The point here, the student needs to have that value addition in their curriculum, in their resume, and as an extra addition, so that will be beneficial when they sit for the interview. Now, this could add, if you could go on to the next slide, I could brief them.
Yeah. So my second question is, so what kind of program curriculum we are providing in TVS TSM? So whether it's a practical or theoretical or it's a case study. So can you elaborate our program curriculum?
Yeah, the practical, it is a more of a practical approach. But if you could, I haven't got the, you need to give me a couple of seconds. My slide isn't moving. Just give me a moment so that I can.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Okay, got it. So yes, the question is more of what does TVS offers? We offer the next generation program. That's number one. Okay, and number two, what we do is everybody talks on hands-on. Okay? Yes, of course, we definitely do the hands-on. It's a practical oriented problems. Now, how our training programs is differentiated from other. I request audience to not touch the screen so that the slides are getting moved. So I request audience to unmute, and also because there are other students who this will be really helpful. So dear audience, please do not move the screen and please put on mute. We will take your questions at the last. Yes. Coming back to the question, what we do is what's different. What is the different thing what we teach here? So we teach them the basics, and we also teach them the industry-related problems. So all the, for example, if you take it whether the PLC devices or maybe the SCADA or the embedded part of it, or even a matter of fact, like for example, the EV Industry 4.0, we give them problems. Okay, they have to solve these problems. Okay, so that they get well versed with the basics and they understand. So when they sort out the problems, the applications and other things, so they get the complete hang of this, and so they are able to solve the problems. Now, for example, if you look at the institutions, what happens is they learn they go to the microprocessors lab and they do the 12 experiments. So that they are not able to think beyond those 12 experiments. So this works in another way. So the experiment, the problems are given first, and they also learn parallelly the programming and the troubleshooting. So coming back, how do we do that? If you look at it, we do EV program in terms of two-wheeler. Okay. So we teach them architecture, the battery types, the battery which if you look at it, it's a very simple concept. When people go inside the lift, we elaborate the students like this, and people go inside the lift, and if the only 12 people are supposed to get inside the lift, and if there are more than 15 people get inside the lift, so what happens is automatically it gets stopped. That's because of the load. So similar way, in the battery there is a motor, and in the EV there's a motor, and if the load doesn't happen, it stops. And if there is too much of heat on the battery, and there is air cooling, it doesn't happen, and it catches fire. Okay, so now how do we have to do the air cooling and do the stop firing? Because what happens is whether the EV vehicles are coming out or not, but there are a lot of people are asking that a lot of bombs are coming out. So we teach them those things, and yes, of course, there are certain EV oriented challenges. We make them understand the EV, because this battery is made of lithium, and there are EV oriented challenges, so how they can manage with that. And there is tremendous amount of opportunity. People who are willing to become entrepreneurs. Okay, now India is giving so much of schemes. There is a wide scope in terms of if you look at a charging segment, there is wide scope in terms of battery. So, and there is a lot of business potential over there. So young entrepreneurs are trying to venture in that. There is, I read one of the companies trying to get into touch with Swiggy, and wherever the batteries are getting stocked, so the batteries will be delivered at the particular location. So that's the business model which they are working at it. So, and by 2025 to 2027, there's going to be a huge buzz in the market in terms of EV, whereas Internet of Things. This is another area where every engineer is supposed to know it. Whether how this internet is going to be a very important part. And today, each and last 5 years back, yeah, there was a different technology. This is 5 years, this is a different technology. So this is giving a tremendous amount of different direction, and there is also a change. So it is, we give them a lot of examples and some sort of a programming as well, and how it could be and that could be done. And that's another short-term program. And all our short-term programs also are 45 hours. So yes, Srinova, you can move to the next slide.
Yes.
So Industry 4.0, which everybody talks about the next generation, what's going to happen. So 2015, 2016, everybody was talking about big data. When big data came into the picture, there was only three V's, okay, volume, velocity, and variety. But now it is more expanded, and it is in terms of the five V's, then the cyber security, the machine-to-machine communication, AI, all those things, which is called an Industry 4.0. So this is where it tells, as an engineer, you're not supposed to be only a mechanical engineer, but you have to be an all-rounder. So when I say big data, it's more of a data. Now, how do you put that and do analysis? How this could help you in terms of mechanical engineers. Now, when you do components for 5,000 components for a particular XYZ company, and that same company comes back to you and says, "Hey, look, we want a 50,000 components, and it has to be completed." So you need to understand. Obviously, this component will have 5 to 6 processes, and what is the best resource I can put in the particular machine, and how much time duration, so that my quality doesn't get compromised, I have a less rejections. So basically analyzing that, it is which tells you about the prescriptive and the predictive. So it's more of an analytics games. Cyber security is very important. A lot of people think that, what am I going to do? I'm a mechanical engineer. What am I going to do as a mechanical engineer in terms of cyber security? It's a very important thing. As an engineer, you should know certain do's and don'ts. Like for example, there are a lot of things which we teach in cybersecurity for mechanical engineers. Here's one what we tell them: an engineer, what he works in an industry, and suddenly if the quality inspector inspects the component, and if it's not up to the standard or something is different, it takes a photograph of that and sends on the WhatsApp. Now WhatsApp is a public based cloud. Okay, you're not supposed to do that, and it will get compromised. And so you'll have to take that drawing or whatever you're going to send. You'll have to send through that email. You can take photographs on the phone, but Android programming is the Android oriented phones are not safer. Okay, so there are a lot of things which we teach for the engineers also in terms of cybersecurity and machine to machine communication, AI. So that's another thing which which is a lot of students and colleges keep asking us. Autotronics is another wonderful program, and any components and in today's world, if you look at it, whether it's washing machine, micro oven, two wheelers, four wheelers, will definitely have some sensors and definitely have some electrical devices where you give input and it will give you the output. Okay, so this is a program you'll be learning about a lot of things in terms of embedded and PLC, those things, where what are the types of sensors are used in two wheelers and four wheelers, which is currently in demand, irrespective of whether it's EV or a normal conventional vehicle. All those you learn about all the electrical components. Okay, and data analytics for manufacturing.
Yeah, Sam, on. Yeah, so you have given a good explanation about autotronics. So meanwhile, I just want to ask a question. So can you
Yeah.
brief, like, what are all the job opportunities the students or employees will get in the domain autotronics?
Okay, so job opportunities, if you look at it, if you look at any automobile sector, okay, is open for everyone. Okay, like from two wheeler, four wheeler, it's a tremendous. You can see, I mean, 5 6 years back, whether it's TVS or Yamaha or Royal Enfield, how many types of bikes were they were manufacturing, and today you can see how many types of bikes are coming out. Now Tata Autocomp is working tremendously in terms of EV, and whoever can Google it, and they can also check the Tata Autocomp LinkedIn page. You can see how much hiring has happened for in terms of EV. So everybody, it's when I say EV, you can see all these areas for hiring, and they trust me, they have a lot of freshers as well. There is walk-ins, drives, everything. So there is not only for two wheelers, for four wheelers, huge amount of opportunity lies for all these students, and there is enough opportunities. All you need to identify, build yourself. What's going to come in next 2 years? You need to understand that and prepare yourself and stick to that point.
Oh yeah, Sam, you're missing, I think. So we are not getting your Sam.
I'm sorry, I think I'm not able to get the question.
Yeah. So now you can audible, Sam. You can go ahead.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of opportunities in terms of the students, and there are it's huge opportunities in terms of two-wheelers and four-wheelers. A lot of day in day out. There is technology is growing, and it's not going to come at the backwards. It's going to come in front. It will be forwarded. The automations, the electronic devices, gadgets. So even a car vehicle, if you look at it, they need 5 or almost 5 7 years before itself the remote locks had come and all those things. So that's the this program, this autotronics tells the student when there is a fuel drop, okay, and it gives you indication. Now it's going one step ahead, and they are also telling that how many what do you say, how many kilometers far away this will go, and it also indicates with a programming which also says which is your next nearest petrol station, the diesel station. So that's the technology advancement which is going on right now. So I think it will be really helpful for all the students in terms of the growth and other aspects as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for explanation. You can go ahead with data manufacturing.
Yeah, so data analytics for manufacturing, it's another beautiful program. Everybody would think that how is this going to get benefited for the mechanical engineers? When I say data analytics for manufacturing, how what does it really means? So data analytics for manufacturing is one of the unique program which we have brought in, and it's tremendously welcomed by the industry people. That's number one, and TVS is, as all know, that like this has this immense connect with the industry, and a lot of industry people have come and studied this program. That's number two. What do we really teach in this program? Okay, like I gave you a small capsule in the before when I was talking about analytics for the engineers. So what ultimately we teach here is it's a more about the prescriptive and predictive analytics. That's number one, and we touch base on the BI, the micro strategy and the business intelligence tools, and also we give them an in-depth immersion about the Microsoft Excel, so that with the Microsoft Excel you'll be able to put the data and then analyze, and also whether you wanted to do the prediction, then you will have to use the business intelligence tools. So that's where we teach them about the prescriptive and the predictive analytics. To say in a layman language, how this when a component, obviously any component which comes to the production process, if you have 5 to 6 processes. So if you have to do some experiment and improve the processes, or wanted to do some analysis, this program will be really helpful. And as a need of the day, and as in today's scenario, I think all the engineers should know this program, and should learn this, because Microsoft Excel is no more only a Microsoft Excel. It's a lot of things can be done, and that's why. So you want to do a predictive analytics, yes. Prescriptive analytics can be done on Microsoft Excel, but yes, if you want to do the more of an intelligent based analytics, so the tools like business intelligence, MicroStrategy, these are we'll be teaching them how to use that. That's not rocket science, and you don't need programming, so that can be done easily. Yeah. We can move on.
So my third question is, what kind of placement programs you are offering in TVS PSU?
Okay, so yes, so a lot of students will talk about this, like why do I have to study the program, and do I have ROI on that? Okay. Yes, there is. We do offer a full-fledged placement programs. So it's about placement program that do not it will not come in 45 hours, because it's a finishing school program, and we have certain eligibility criteria. Student has to undergo a test, and then we check their eligibility criteria, and then only we take them in our placement program. And yes, of course, it is there for placement program is there for EC, Triple E, and mechanical. And it is a 280 hours program approximately, which goes about to 30 days. And then we give them a GET interviews, and we give them an interviews, and we give them 3 to 4 GET interviews, which is called as graduate engineering training. And we do not promise them jobs. Nobody can promise jobs. Okay, all we can promise them are opportunities. So we promise them on opportunities. That's what we say, that we give them a 3 to 4 GET interviews. That's a proper permanent roles. And you can see from January, you can see the latest some of the from January. You can see some of the students which we have placed. If somebody is placed telling you what package we can place for. We do not get into the package because it entirely depends upon the market and the capacity and capability of the student. So yeah, if you look at it, some of the students who have got placed from January onwards, you can see the list. That's number one in this slide. And there are a lot of companies, like I said, which is talking about the value addition and thinking about the next generation, and their benchmarking is huge. So seeing this slide, you can think only, okay, only this number of companies. Okay, so if you could move on to the next slide. Okay. If you move on to the next slide, we have about 72 openings and list of the companies and with the packages. Okay, and we have these are some of the companies which we have given to the students, and students are not got placed. They are not able to match the industry standards. Okay, so some of the you can look at the packages, you can look at the companies. So yes, of course, and we have so many companies with the fancy names, which ideally I would love to go get settled down, or we would love to go and settle down with those companies. But yes, we'll have to, when companies give so much of money, they also expect same kind of knowledge and the same kind of smartness in the kids, and has to be, as an engineer in today's scenario, he has to be an all-rounder. Yes, of course, you need to understand your passion, and you need to that's why your internship is going to be a very important role. But yes, your value addition programs are very important role, and how are you going to go? So that is one of the important aspects. So yes, so audience, I request you to put on mute. Yes.
Yeah, students, can you please go on mute? I think he is sharing some valuable point for you.
So yeah, Sinafa, you can go to the next slide.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah. So yes. So when I say a placement-oriented programs, we do not hire everyone. Is of course it comes with certain eligibilities. The student has to possess about 65 percentage throughout their education career. That's number one. No standing careers. Yes, of course you can have a history of careers. Case to case basis we take it, but max we do not take students who have more than 5 history of careers. We do also cater to this. We also keep an entrance test, and then we take the students on the board. But yes, of course, we give 3 GET interviews. When I say GET interviews, called as graduate engineering training, and it's proper permanent roles. And package starts from 2.4 and above, and location could be anywhere in India, and that's how it is. So this is it is a more discipline oriented program, and we have a lot of case studies, business problems, and what happens in industry. That's what is taught in school, and it's built as a curriculum. That's for EC, Triple or mechanical or automobile production. So right from when in an organization, I mean in a company, when he has to do a startup in a component. So all the parts it's taught completely, and we train the students parallelly, and we keep the placements also parallel. So that's how it is, the duration and the total thing, and you can move on now.
So Sam, actually, I have one doubt.
Yeah,
So you have provided the fee structures, right? So
yeah.
where will be this GST? So you can see in next 5 years what will be that amount GET job profile in next
Okay.
5 years.
Okay, next 5 years. Okay, see, it entirely depends upon the candidate. Okay, but as far as if I would be in candidate's shoes, see, next 5 years he could be in a very good position like assistant manager engineer. So a lot of engineers, production engineer, and all those things. So it has its own hierarchy, and a lot of students do a mistake of comparing themselves with an IT-based companies and their salary packages. Whereas if you look at manufacturing EC2B, yes, they have a tremendous growth, but it has a slow phase process. It has its own. But IT, if you look at it, it has a faster process. It at the same time it comes down as well, because that's why if you look at it, it has a multiple various technologies. Okay, for cloud, if you look at it, there are a lot of Amazon and other things as well. Whereas if you look at programming, there are a lot of programming languages which have come. So whereas testing, there is a lot of testing, Selenium, so load runner, VAPT. So this cannot, as an engineer, as a mechanical engineer, you love this and you have taken this. Okay, so you should not compare yourself with IT. This is a different ball game. That is a different ball game. As whenever a student gets into the industry, it has its own phase, like introduction stage, growth stage, and then development stage, and then the technical stage. Whereas IT comes very fast. If you, unless until you do not adapt and do not develop yourself. So IT is more often a more you need to learn, the continuous process learning is more higher than other domains.
Yes, and actually I can understand the stability in this type of core company. So shall we move to the next slide?
Absolutely. Yes, if you look at the duration, what is the duration? For easy to leave, we do an instrumentation mechatronics on students. We do an embedded program and industrial automation, which we do it for the EEE robotics, mechatronics, and all these things. But yes, our trademark program is for the mechanical, for the manufacturing program, which we have done a tremendous amount of placements, and it's a huge buzz in the market, and we are well known, renowned for this program as well. So yes, we can move on.
Yeah. So my final question is, so is you think that soft skills are more important for the students as well as profession for cracking their interviews?
So absolutely, Jennifer, if you look at it, uh, this is one role that's because it has a very important factor to be played in the companies. But in India, due to a lot of various reasons, people and the students do not take these soft skills very seriously. Why? Because I can tell you a few examples. When we are placing our students and they go for an interview, they had very tough challenges. So by and large, what happened is we thought that this has to be embedded in our placement program, and we did a continuous process. But when we went to the colleges, and they also said that why don't we do our students a small soft skills programs, and so that they are really beneficial. Now, so we designed this program completely based on the industry requirement. When I say industry requirement, when an engineer or somebody goes to the company and he gets a beating in terms of spoken English or the written communication, then he thinks about how do I develop my communication skills. But instead, we tell the students that it has to be a part of your profile there, and it is a quality which you should possess. And if you do not develop it, it will be very tough. So we built a program on this, which is about like 6-day program, where, for example, if a student is attending an interview, he or she will be looking at the website, okay, and will gathering the data. So reading skill is very important. And then what happens is next day he goes to the interview and somebody is asking you a question, and then you need to listen properly and then answer it properly. Okay, so what are the important points you need to read and keep in your mind, and then when you go for the interview, you need to listen, and then when he is asking you, when after doing that listening part, you need to speak. So that is very important, and this is a chain-based reaction. Okay, and we also tune up the students on the top 10 job interviews. When I say top 10 job interviews, we give them a template that what needs to be. Lot of students, not even lot of 99.95 students would say, my name is after immediately tell about yourself. This is a default answer. My name is Mohammed Samyuddin. This is how they start. Okay, so but that's not the way, and that's not how the HRs expect. Okay, so it has a particular template where you talk about little bit of your family background, and you talk about little bit of your slight snapshot about your education, and then you talk about your passion, weaknesses, and few things what you would have loved to do, which you would love to do in a organization as in a long term, okay? And your strengths and weaknesses, of course. So that's how we give them a template. That's how they learn to follow, and we also teach them on terms of public speaking that gives them confidence, and so that whichever arena it is, okay, whether it's in a group discussion, whether it's one-on-one interview, whether he has to do a proper stage talking. So this public speaking which will help them. So that we have included, and we also do a presentation skills. When I say presentation skills, it's not about the PPT or the PowerPoint or the Excels. It's the presentation, how you present yourself. That is an important part when we are talking to the HRs, or when we are talking into the public forum, or into the any office decorum. So this has to be followed, and that is an important thing. So that's why we all thought that this has to be a very important thing, and there's a lot of success. A lot of students have improved, and there's a lot of HRs have said that there is a lot of difference in terms of the students when they have started attending this program, and we're doing a lot of programs for this. And, so as far as for me, if you look at it, I think soft skills is one of the not an important factor, but it's a critical factor because you are no longer you're not being going to be opening. So I think soft skills is an important part, whichever part of India you are, whether from Andhra Pradesh or whether from whichever part, but one single language which everybody understands is English. I think when you have to interact with the foreign clients, so I think this is going to be an important thing. Yeah, yes.
Yes, I'm actually as an HR executive, we're also looking for a candidate. You should have possessed some soft skills. So in order to evaluate their education career very well. So now it's the time for the students. You can raise your questions to Mr. Samuddin, and I know you'll also address your queries. So you can put your queries and also your chat box, okay?
All right. I request all the audience to put their questions on the chat box so that I can have a look at it.
Yeah.
And the students who have do not have questions,
Yeah, students, you can come forward. I hope that everyone will have some kind of questions in your mind. So you can just come forward and you can speak, or you can also mail it to us, okay? Yeah, Sam, actually we got a message from a student named Arun, and we have asked about what are all the basic skills that manufacturing engineers to have.
so there is nothing called basic skills and major skills. So all the skills are supposed to be learned, and irrespective of any domain, the top 1% will be on top. So as far as what is in the manufacturing, what is the package? I mean, if the component is given to you, for example, this is the component that it is given to you. So the first thing is what you do the design. So how it has to be manufactured, you put the drawings, the materials, and everything you finalize, and the production and the quality and the logistics. So 360-degree, when I say, keep in mind that you will have to have a good amount of skills in terms of 360-degree. So that's the need of the day, and it has gone beyond that. So when the technology came in, the internet, your WhatsApps, your Facebooks, Instagrams, LinkedIn, your WeChat, all those things have come in. I think it has gone to a different direction. So we'll have to update. That's why it's called as Industry 4.0. When this robotics came into the humans are the robots are cutting the jobs of humans. Okay, so the robotics is playing an important factor. So you'll have to be an order.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I think Arun, we have addressed your query. So is there any someone you can come forward and then you can ask your questions? Yeah, Sam, actually I have one more question. So can I come forward?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so what do you think? What are all the challenges as a fresher engineer student will be facing when he attend the interview in a core company?
Okay, so as a fresher, he has to attend a core company. The questions will be whatever you have studied. Okay, the questions will be from that. That's number one. And if you have done value addition and your internship, the questions will be from there. Okay. Now, as an engineer, whether you're an engineer or any graduate, communication skill is by default it's required. That's number one. And then your technical skills will be evaluated. Now, whatever the internship or the project what you have done that could act as a villain and as well as a hero. So, and same goes with this value addition program as well. Okay. So, for example, if you have done something on Industry 4.0, or maybe your project is on terms of EV. Now, if you answer this well, okay, and if you are very clear, and if they understand that okay, this kid has really done this project, he has not purchased it. That's number one. He has not taken help, but he has put his hands on. So that becomes a hero for you. So the validation program, the projects, whatever you have done, that becomes a hero for you, and it gives you +1. Now, if you do not answer this value addition programs or your project properly, it becomes a -1 for you. So it becomes a villain for you. So it's all up to you that how you build something for what you want and how do you achieve it. So you need to explain it very clearly to the HRs in the interview.
Yeah, so actually I got a few questions and feedback from our student. So he
Yeah.
asked like, they are asking like, now see, like Japan company, they are promoting the robots and they are replacing the manpower, right? So
Correct.
if that scenario will come to India?
Okay, of course, robots will come, but it will not entirely replace the human intervention. I mean, human. So yes, of course, the robots will be the part of the manufacturing things and other things as well. So that's where the lot of automation is happening, and that's why it's called as Industry 4.0. But it will not eradicate a lot of things. But there is a lot of talk. People are saying that automated cars and Tesla is working on a lot of areas on that. So R&D is huge. Okay, so in 20, I don't know, 2030 or maybe 2035, it's going to be a different. Its whole engineering is going to be in a different direction. But yes, of course, robots will come. It is not that it's going to replace humans completely, but it will replace few parts.
Yeah. So actually, as an HR executive, I have an question for you. Like
Yeah.
whenever I'm a hire student, like whenever I'm a hire a fresher or an engineer. So what you concern, like whether they are go ahead for their package or they are go ahead for their job profile in a core company?
That's a very good question, actually. Whether so, if I have to rephrase the question for the students, the question is given to me is the package important, or the company is important, or the role is important, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So yes, of course, money is important. Nevertheless, money, I never say that money is not important. But when you, if I would be in student shoes, and I today advise all the students on one area, that's please look at the when you're going to join the college. What do you look at? You look at infra, you look at the faculties, you look at the library, and amount of learning what you could do. Right? That's what you look at it. When you go for jobs, please look at the same angle, because the first next another next 5 years, that's a learning process for you. So please decide on what role are you going in. Are you getting into the area where your passion is? And third is it emerging? That's do you have the emerging technologies in that? And please think on those lines. Do not only think on only the salary part. If you have to only do a salary, look at the salary part. Then engineers can work in Swiggy and Vola, and that's what a lot of people also are doing it. But salary is not the only factor to decide. I know a lot of freshers take pride in saying salary packages. Yes, that's important. It's always important. But please think about your domain. I know I can see a lot of mechanical engineers joining IT jobs. A lot of EC people are not taking their core jobs. So thumb rule is please be patient. Take up your core jobs. It has a future, and still there's a lot of demand as well. So it's all about irrespective of whatever area you choose, the top 1% will go high. So that's my advice. Please think about the job role, what you're going to pick up, type of company, and is it going to emerge? Think on those lines, and please take up that role. Yeah, salary is important, but these are the 3 points which are important than that.
yeah. Thank you, Sam. So I have one more question from the student side. So,
Yeah,
like now, Indian government has implemented and they are investing more on EV as well as research, right? So, what do you
yeah.
think in 2025? So, what will be the market of EV? And what will be the growth of EV at that time?
EV is going to be a very hard. A lot of other countries have already done a lot of work in terms of EV. So there is a lot of jobs is going to come. Okay. Now nobody imagined. People are making a lot of criticism in terms of Ola, but nobody imagined a small app-based company would enter into this EV area. Okay. So when a company like Ola has ventured into this and doing a lot of things, now Tata Autocom and Tata is a lot of people, the Tata electric car, and there are two-wheelers in terms of IQ and all other EV vehicles which are coming and start rolling in the market. and this is going to get higher and higher. And there's a lot of all the tier one engineering colleges have their EV labs in the colleges. So a lot of R&D work is going on. That's by default. Everybody will agree to that. Number two, there's a lot of opportunities is also is getting built up simultaneously. So parallelly, if you look at the opportunities, is also there. Government is launching a lot of entrepreneurships schemes in this area, giving tax evasion and allotting land for the organizations who work on this. So I would say I wouldn't be surprised by 2030 if whole India comes into the green of this EV segment and all the vehicles getting replaced with this EV thing. I wouldn't be that wouldn't be surprised. That's the roadmap because Karnataka has already put an ambition mission in terms of this 2025. All the vehicles has to be in EV. So everybody is working on this. There is a huge opportunity and there is tremendous amount of search in terms of EV.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sam. So students, are you having any doubts? So
I think
regarding
we
our program or anything, you can come forward. Yeah, hope. Thank you, students. Thank you for your valuable time. I'll just come for a conclusion. And see, I have provided our contact number as well as our email ID. In case if you have any doubts or if you want to do any queries, you can go ahead with this email ID as well as you can call this number at any time. We will be there for you to address your queries and your doubts. Okay. So, by the way, thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for your marvelous speech. Okay, so you have gave valuable information about our company in terms of training program and services that we are delivered and how well we are engaging with the candidates still to date. And I hope all the students and the working professional now would get an idea about the career towards our company. And I also like to thank the participants who spend their time and now they are make this webinar more interactive. So with that, we will also provide you, like we will also come with more webinars in the future, and you can also share some topic to us. So we will conduct webinar with you, as well as we can also there for you to provide a direct seminar, and you can also call us for a guest lecture. From the part of TVS training and service, we will there for you to conduct whatever you ask to us. Okay. Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you. You can also conclude with the student.
thank you, students, and thanks for taking time and thanking for joining the session. Please do this session will be recorded and sent to you. People who friends, some of your colleagues who have participated, they can have a look at the link. And if you want to be a part of our training, you have my contact number, and you can give us a buzz. And you can also yeah, you can also contact the number. And we are there on the Facebook. We are there on the LinkedIn. Do explore more about us and check how can we be a value addition for you. Okay. So thank you very much, guys, and thanks for taking time and best of luck.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.